WF representing Palace, so let's tell you about Palace. Rolling straight to the ceiling, crowns and crystals, top like journeys, dishing out malice. Hold up, South London's grandest, far from bandits. Anything earned for a goal of elevation, just passing the team over here might finish out. Bright future we can't vanish. SE25 any day, that's sellers. Rev up the engines, no more reverse reactions. Fan cams, bands on stream. Share up the team, support the dream team when Eagles fly, make noise and scheme. Dare to dream or dream to dare, taking a step to become supreme.
Big up everyone, we're back here, this time outside Wembley Park Station. And this is our Villa preview. We are recording this early, it is a Monday, but we will release this later on in the week. So granted, the Arsenal game hasn't happened yet, but we thought it was a great opportunity. Bank holiday Monday, free parking, and an opportunity to discuss the game. Man, JC, how are you feeling about?
I mean, it does feel a little bit weird to be here on Wembley Way at Wembley Stadium on a game that's not a match day.
Yeah.
Yes, we don't come here very often, but the fact of just being here just feels special. You know that something amazing is going to happen in that stadium. Whether we win or lose, who knows yet? But looking forward to it. Even though there's no one here, I do feel the atmosphere is building a little bit, and I'm getting a little bit more excited.
100%. I think, as you see from this preview, we're going to walk down Wembley Way, walk around the outskirts of the stadium, and just obviously talk you through our thoughts and feelings with the upcoming game. Massive game, I think our biggest game of the season. Boy, we're very nervous though. Very, very nervous.
Bricking it, I think, is the nice way of saying it.
No,
but
indeed.
Let's get down the way, and hopefully you guys enjoy this preview.
The Palace.
So, outside of the box park, a little bit further down the Wembley Way, there's going to be a lot of drinking and a lot of talking happening in this. Would you say it's a pub, or would you say it's like just a general place to visit?
Yeah.
General place to visit. But we're not here just to talk about ourselves. Obviously, it's a great day for Palace to be here at Wembley Stadium, but we have to talk a little bit about our competition, Aston Villa. So far in the FA Cup, they have beaten West Ham 2-1. They have also beaten Tottenham 2-1. They beat Cardiff 2-0, and in the last round, they beat Preston 3-0. What do you think of their run up until this point?
You can't knock it. You know, 2 Premiership outfits in that running. You know, yes, the scoreline may be close, but obviously we don't follow Villa like that. Did they have rotation? Bear in mind, they've obviously had Champions League football this year as well. You know, I mean, if you look at the quarter-final round against Preston defended very well for a half. But once Villa got that first goal, it was curtains, you know. So yeah, never going to knock an opposition's routes though to the semi-final. It's about getting there.
Yeah, I mean, there's no knocking it, because if you look at, we're going to talk about it a little bit more later, but if you look at the contrast between our run and their run, our run already looks a hell of a lot more easier than theirs. But as you said, you can't knock it. We've both made it here, and it's both an incredible achievement. I mean, I haven't done any research about it, but when was the last time that Aston Villa actually made it to Wembley, apart from the playoffs? Did they make it to the playoffs? I can't remember.
I think they did. Did they not play Brentford in one final? I could be wrong.
Can't remember. But great achievement for both teams, just making it here. And if you guys are coming to the stadium, make sure to check this place out. Well, hello there, friend. We will be there.
The famous stairs. Obviously, the walk up the stairs towards Wembley Stadium.
I'll be out of breath by this point.
Let's obviously contrast our route to the semi-final, which I will say is slightly easier. You know, we can't complain about it.
Yeah, you'd have to say. You know, we've only played one Premier League opposition in Fulham, Craven Cottage, and Villa have played 2 Premier League teams.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I feel like we've sort of ramped up our way there.
Our performances,
like, progressively. It hasn't just been big performance, and then you've dulled it down a little bit.
Yeah.
We've just kept increasing our performance, and I think I'd rather it be that way as well.
Absolutely. And let's go back to that third round game, Stockport County at home, in which we had a brilliant start with Ebbs scoring after 4 minutes. And then it got a bit ropey, you know, and fair play to Stockport County. They gave it a good go. I think they would be disappointed to not at least scored themselves in that game. But, you know, it's cup football. You just got to get that win under your belt. And don't forget, that was actually at a time where we weren't looking too great ourselves.
Yeah, that was right at the start of the season where we weren't looking too great, as you said. And to be fair, I think that was one of the first wins that we actually got all season. Maybe that was one of the results that, you know, made us have that little turn in form a little bit later during the season. But it was a very important game, a game that we should have been winning. Don't get me wrong, we should have been winning that game. But it was very important in our season, and I think it's very important in our route to where we are now. But then we go on to the Doncaster game. We win 2-0 away, 2 goals scored, one by Justin Devaney, the other by Daniel Munoz.
First half, yeah. And once again, it's one of those professional performances, you know, and obviously the game was massive because that's when the draw was done before kick-off. And I love the scenes with people on Twitter. They're on the concourse, they're obviously screaming out there, screaming in the concourse. How happy that it was Millwall in the 5th round. And like, Devaney should have scored a sitter before he actually scored. The chance he took was harder.
Oh, yeah, 100%. And to be fair, for someone as young as he is, come from the academy, his first proper season in the Premier League, what a finish.
It was a great finish,
Lobbed the keeper from just outside the box, at pace as well. So,
absolutely.
You know.
And once again, credit to Doncaster as well, because I think they played some incredible football.
Yeah.
You know, if they had a bit more luck or their shooting boots on, there's a scare there. Because I think they played very well.
For a team in the league they're in, they're playing like they're in a division above.
No, absolutely.
The only thing that's really holding them back is a little bit more investment. You know, they've got great scouting there. We spoke to the Doncaster fans. Yeah. They've got very attacking, creative, beautiful football that they play in the league that they're in. And I think just a little bit more money into that club, they could make another difference in the Championship.
No, 100%. And this is the magic of the cup, because granted, we had obviously had League 2 and League 1 opposition in that route. They've given us a tough game, you know. Moving on to the big one. The big game, which obviously if you're a neutral, the spectacle took a massive turn within like 8 minutes. You know, obviously Mateta taking that horrific challenge from the keeper. I will say, look, the keeper didn't intend to hurt him. We'll get that out there. But it is reckless and it is dangerous, and it was a rightful sending off.
The second you come out of your box, you're just a normal active player again, aren't you? And Mateta's looking at the ball, keeper's looking at the ball. It's just a little bit reckless. Yeah. And to be fair, it is their substitute goalkeeper, so Millwall didn't really feel the repercussions of anything that really happened. I'm pretty sure I saw them post about him being back already. So, you know, it was a lengthy ban. Don't get me wrong, we played them ages ago, but you know, it didn't really affect them at all. But you know, like we said, didn't do it on purpose, and I don't begrudge him for that at all.
Yeah.
But from that point in the game, playing against 10 men, it's a game that we should have been winning.
Yeah, absolutely. And another player who we were very happy to see make mistakes was obviously Japhet Tankanga. Obviously scored an own goal after his theatrics with Saha a couple of seasons ago. But that was from a well-taken, quick thinking from Chill, actually, to recycle the ball after a corner. Daniel Munoz scored, which was initially given offside.
Yep.
Obviously VAR checked that, and that goal was given. I think Eddie Nketiah had one that was disallowed for handball in the process, but he scored a fantastic header in the second half. And I think that was when he had his little purple patch from scoring off the bench as well, which was obviously good for him. So obviously it's always good to beat them. Granted, they did score and make it 2-1, and we're thinking, wow, they had 10 men. Like we've not made this run easy for ourselves.
No, and as I said, we've increased difficulty like incrementally, but our performances was never really there until we got to that Fulham game, 3-0 at Craven Cottage. Yeah. And to be fair, that game could have turned on its head because of a certain Adam Wharton. He should have been sent off for kicking out against Muniz. He really should have. But the game is the game.
Absolutely.
We turned up, we put in an incredible performance. Just talk us through that day.
I mean, like, when you even just look at the fact that Muniz had a great chance, I believe Henderson might have got fingertips to it as well. And then once and it's always the Palace way, I think, especially on the glass days, it takes us like 10, 15 minutes to settle in games. I think we do need to be careful that we don't concede in that period, because I don't think might be difficult to get back into games. But once we do figure out the team and take control, we look lively. And like Ebbs' goal that day, great ball from Lacroix to Mitchell. Mitchell passed it inside, and Ebbs' finish was ridiculous. Like, absolutely fantastic finish.
Yeah, you've got that finish, and then literally about 5 minutes later,
Yeah.
you've got another bit of magic from Ebbs,
From Ebbs, yeah.
picking up the ball out wide, driving into the box, nice little quick step to send Anderson the wrong way, lifting it, and what a header from
Yeah.
Sarr. At pace, glancing the header into the far post, makes it 2-0 in about 5 minutes of scoring our first goal. The momentum's on our back.
Absolutely. And it's a great centre-forward play as well, even though he's not a centre-forward, but he just went boom, just ran in front of Bassi, who obviously was ball watching and trying to get his position. And yeah, like I said, we rode our luck a little bit, beginning of the second half. I think Sarr cleared one off the line,
Yeah.
Henderson had another save, but then again, we kind of got used to the press, like Chris Richards was heading everything out and whatnot, and we killed the game off that Commander's assist for Eddie.
Yeah, we got back into it, and to be fair, the substitutes changed the game for us a little bit. I think Nketiah gave us that extra element of running in behind with a little bit more pace, and then Kamada, the pass was perfect, and also he was very good in the fact that Hughes won the ball, but because Hughes won the ball in sort of a 50-50 challenge and both players were down, Kamada swooped in, picked up the ball, sent Eddie off on his way, and I tell you what, he must have known that from his days at Arsenal when working with Leno, put it through his legs, because his legs are always apart. And great finish, 3-0, game over. And it was just a party in that away end. I know you weren't there, but it was an absolute party in that away end.
No, absolutely. Which brings us here, once again to Wembley. Massive game this Saturday in the FA Cup against Aston Villa. So let's go up there, have a look.
We are here, we are outside the Bobby Moore statue. Was this where they won the World Cup?
Yeah, but they would have had the Twin Tower version back in the day, yeah.
But we are here, we are outside of Wembley Stadium, and the next point to talk about is Oliver Glasner versus Unai Emery. And I've gone on record many times this season saying I think Oliver Glasner has got Unai Emery's number. However, we have played them 3 times this season. Is Emery going to let that happen to them for the 4th time? We've drawn with them at their place in the league. We beat them at their place in the Carabao Cup, and we beat them at our place in the league as well. This is the 4th time. Rich, how do you think this game will go?
The thing, what you just said, is the thing that makes me extremely nervous, to be honest. Our biggest game of the season, I'm just hoping that we haven't been found out, in a sense. Granted, obviously in the league, Emery made the cardinal sin and tried to match our formation, which didn't work. I guess another factor we've got to look into is the size of the Wembley pitch. It's massive, so how do we navigate that as well? We've got to be mindful of that. But I'm nervous. I'm really, really nervous, but I am optimistic as well. Like Glasner is a very good tactician. He will, I'm sure, have some way of stopping their threats in the likes of Rashford or Asensio, Rodgers, who have had good seasons, But yeah, nervous though.
Yeah, it is nervous, especially knowing that someone like Pau Torres is back as well. Yeah. He's probably the guy that they've missed the most in all 3 of our previous games because he hasn't played in any of them because he's been injured pretty much all season. But what you said about the big pitch, I do feel like that could benefit us as well because we are a wing-back team now. We have got a lot more players out wide running in the channels, and to be fair, yes, that does play into their hands, but I think it could also play into ours as well. Even Ebbs for England, he's played here. He's played out wide, and he's actually looked pretty good for England here when he's played out wide. Maybe with that little bit extra width that he can bring, maybe he's got a little bit more space to navigate and to not be too caught up in the scramble that you do get in the middle of the pitch. But with Unai Emery and Oliver Glasner, I do feel like our formation is ever so slightly geared up to fight against Emery, because they do play their 4 at the back, but both of their wing backs go, whereas we play our 5 at the back with both our wing backs go.
Yeah.
So when they go, they've really and truly only got 2 at the back, and they are very vulnerable
On
to
the break,
transitions
yeah.
and counter-attacks. Granted, so are we, but I think the fact that we've got so much pace in Ismail Assar, we've got the hold-up play that you get from Jean-Philippe Mattel,
Yeah.
and then you've got that technician and the passing ability of Adam Wharton and Eze. I'm not saying that this is a done deal. We have to play well, because
Yeah.
they're going to get Champions League this year, probably. But with what we know and how our players can play, we have to be at the top of our ability to actually get to those heights.
No, absolutely. And I mean, you make a point. I know we're going to discuss about who we should have as a starting lineup next. But Villa have got Man City, I think, on Wednesday as well. You know, how much does that play a part? 'Cause like you said, they're chasing Champions League, and I think they need to get Champions League too.
Yeah.
I believe because of PSR things, and apologies if I'm wrong about that. So it's a massive game for them in the league as well. Do they rotate? There's so many permutations, obviously, for both our clubs on Wednesday as well.
Yeah, and to be fair, if you're Aston Villa and you've got those PSR issues, if you win the FA Cup, you only get Europa League football.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that Europa League football's anything to scoff at. For us, it's incredible.
Yeah.
For them, if you've got the financial issues and you're where you are in the table, a big decision has to be made,
Yeah.
because no matter what, no matter how good your team is, no matter how good your squad depth is, one of those games you're not going to go full strength. And it's a massive decision. Do you throw away the cup at this point, at this late stage? I know Villa fans are going to be gutted,
Yeah,
because,
yeah.
like, you know, if you go to Wembley, you want to win the football match.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
I think so
the
too.
Champions League is, in my opinion, and obviously I'm biased as well, I want us to win.
Yeah.
I don't want them to put out a full team, but in my opinion, if I was a Villa fan, you'd think, well, you know, if you're in really bad financial troubles, you'd probably rather get the Champions League football.
Yeah, I agree. I guess how Villa fans will look at it, this is like, look, this is an opportunity for a trophy. Let's just say the Man City game goes wrong, there's still 4 more games to navigate. So maybe they can turn that around still. It'll be difficult, because there's, I think, 5 or 6 teams within like 3 points of each other in the league, all baying for whether it's Champions League or Europa League. So, yes, it's difficult, but hopefully we just put our strong performance.
Yeah, and I think the performance is going to be very key because of how they play as well, because we have seen from the last 2 away games conceding 10 goals in 2 games. Yes, to Newcastle and Manchester City, who are probably the most informed teams in the country right now.
But so are Villa.
But so are Villa, and they are very good on the transition, and they are very weak on the transition. Newsflash, same thing for us. So this game is not going to finish 0-0. I'll let you know that. It can't. That was a proper Michael Owen statement. It can't finish 0-0. But
Well, it can technically if it goes penalties.
I don't want to. I can't. But what I would say is, tactically, this game has got a lot riding on it, because I do think that Unai Emery is going to develop a different system to counter the systems that we have played. Yes, Glasner has changed our system ever so slightly each time we've played against them. I think the most notable one is probably the Carabao Cup, because we rotated quite a lot in that game to actually put a team out. But we've changed ever so slightly in all 3 of those games. I think Emery's going to have an answer for all 3 of those different style of plays. But I do, on the other hand, believe that I think Oliver Glasner will have another trick up his sleeve. He'll develop a different formation, a different setup, a different pressing pattern to help us get forward. Maybe even drop Adam a little bit more central, and then drop Eze in to have sort of Eze, Hughes and Wharton in the middle as like a 3. So he could do a lot of different things. Maybe even throw a massive curveball and start someone like Ben Chilwell to have that extra width down that left-hand side if we're going to have Eze tuck in. There's a lot of things that we could do, and to be fair, just standing here, I'm even more excited.
No, absolutely. Glasner, please find another way.
And I think the only last thing I would say is that I do think that would be the case, because Oliver Glasner said to Pep, you know, if you play like that, if we find you in the final, we'll find a way to dissolve your setup. So let's get on to some predicted 11s and then some score predictions.
let's finish up discussing what obviously our potential lineup will be, what we think it should be, and some score predictions as well for Saturday's game. Massive game, as we said. In my personal opinion, I don't see anything further than what we usually go for.
Yeah,
which
we're
is
going to
obviously-
play our best 11.
Yeah.
Start what has been working for us. For me, I would go with Dean Henderson in goal.
Yeah.
Tyrick Mitchell at left wing back. Mark Gay at left centre back. Maxence Lacroix at central centre back. And Chris Richards at right centre back with Daniel Munoz at right wing back. My midfield two, I go on the left, I go with Adam Wharton.
Yeah.
On the right, I go with Will Hughes.
Yeah.
Left attacking mid, Ebbs. Right attacking mid, Ismail Assar. Finally up top, I'm going John Philippe Mateta.
Yeah, I don't think there's any other thing we can do. You know, obviously, like I said, we are recording this on a Monday, so we're hoping that
There's
no injuries, that there's rotation against Arsenal. But obviously, when you see this on Thursday, we'll have a better indication. But I think that is the starting 11 we need to go for, you know, and give it our best shot. The dreaded score prediction.
I mean, it feels even worse doing it with still a game in the middle between this recording and the actual game. I think both teams are going to score. I've been flip-flopping between results like no one's business. My head is telling me that Villa's going to win, but we're here, feeling the vibes right now. I'm going Crystal Palace 2, Aston Villa 1.
Yeah, like I said, just the way that Villa's run's been, which has been mad, I'm nervous.
It's tough to take into account that big game against City as well.
Yeah, absolutely. But I'm also optimistic, especially if we play this on the counter-attack well. You know, I think it will be close as well. I'm going to go 3-2 Palace.
Cool.
So yeah, now big up everyone. This is the Villa match preview. Something a bit different. You know how we normally like to get a guest on or something, but we thought to ourselves, it's Bank Holiday Monday. Let's get ourselves down to Wembley and do a proper preview for you. So yeah, like, share, subscribe, all of that, and
Remember, there will be a vlog for the game.
there will be. We're still looking for something to watch along.
We need to find time to do a watch along. Tim,
If you're not
if you're
already
not
busy.
please can you do the watch along for us?
No, absolutely. Look, but we're going to be loud, we're going to be proud, you know, and as always, JC.
Thanks for watching.
And up the Palace.
Palace.
Eagles.